Greetings, one and all. Welcome back to another episode of Whatever Happened To, the series where we take a where are they now look at players who found success in the National Hockey League but are no longer permanent fixtures in the league, either due to controversy, poor play, or just rotten luck. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at a former 30-goal scorer and 11-year veteran of the league. As we ask, whatever happened to Matt Moulson? After being selected 263rd overall in the 9th round of the 2003 NHL entry draft by the Pittsburgh Penguins, Matt Moulson spent the next 3 seasons at Cornell University, where he scored at over a point per game pace each season and put up 115 points in 101 games. Having graduated from Cornell after spending the last 4 years at the university, Moulson was ready to turn pro with the aim of making it to the NHL one day. Luckily for him, it wouldn't be too long until he got his wish. After Pittsburgh chose not to sign him, Matt Moulson became an unrestricted free agent. So, on September 1st, 2006, Moulson signed a 2-year entry-level contract with the Los Angeles Kings. Just like that, Moulson had earned his first pro contract with an NHL team and was one step closer to playing in the best league in the world. But he wasn't quite there yet. After he signed with the Kings, Moulson was assigned to their AHL affiliate team, the Manchester Monarchs, for the upcoming 06-07 season. The 06-07 season saw Moulson have a great debut season in the AHL, as the former 9th round pick scored 25 goals and 32 assists for 57 points in 77 games during his first season as a pro. This production was good enough to help the Monarchs make the playoffs, where Moulson notched a slightly less impressive 5 points in 16 games, but the Monarchs were eliminated in the conference finals by the Hershey Bears. After an impressive year in Manchester, Moulson was starting to attract the attention of the LA Kings management, and it wouldn't be long until he would be suiting up for the Californian franchise. The 07-08 season saw Moulson become a key member for the Monarchs during another season of development in the minors, as he scored 28 goals and 28 assists for 56 points in 57 games. However, his consistent point production throughout the season was good enough to earn Moulson several looks on the Kings roster, as LA gave him his first taste of NHL hockey. After spending the last 5 seasons toiling away at university and in the minors, Moulson was finally getting his chance to play in the best league in the world. Moulson's first stint with the Kings was pretty good, as the Canadian forward scored 5 goals and 4 assists for 9 points in 22 games. Whilst the Kings missed out on the playoffs that season, Moulson was sent back down to the AHL to play for Manchester during the AHL playoffs. Moulson scored 2 goals in 4 playoff games, but the Monarchs were eliminated in the first round by the Providence Bruins. After getting the chance to play in the NHL, Moulson was ready for more, and it wouldn't be long until he was on an NHL roster for good. After his 2-year entry-level contract with the Kings had expired, and having shown steady improvement in those 2 years, the Kings re-signed Moulson to a 1-year contract worth $522,500 to remain with the team. The 08-09 season had Moulson start the year on the Kings roster after a strong outing the season prior. Unfortunately though, after scoring only a single goal in 7 games with the Kings, Moulson was sent back down to Manchester for another season of development. Moulson played well for Manchester once again, as the former 9th round pick potted 21 goals and 26 assists for 47 points in 54 games. These numbers wouldn't be good enough to help Manchester make the playoffs though, as they missed out on the postseason for the first time since the team's inception in 2001. After his 1-year contract extension with the Kings had expired, and after becoming a free agent once again since the Kings didn't offer him an extension, on July 6, 2009, Matt Moulson signed a 1-year contract worth $575,000 with the New York Islanders. Just like that, Moulson was moving to the other side of the country to show that given the chance, he could be a productive player at the NHL level. And boy was he right! The 09-10 season saw Moulson suit up for the Islanders for the first time, as the Canadian forward made New York's roster out of training camp. Moulson thanked the Islanders by scoring 30 goals and 18 assists for 48 points in 82 games during his first full season in the league. This explosion of point production was thanks in no small part to Moulson being placed on a line with Islanders star John Tavares. Whilst Moulson would establish himself as a consistent goal scorer in the league, this production wasn't good enough to help the Islanders make the playoffs, as they missed out on the postseason for the third straight season. After his one-year contract with the Islanders ended and having scored 30 goals that season, it was time for Moulson to get a raise. So, on July 27, 2010, the Islanders signed Moulson to a one-year contract extension worth $2.45 million. Moulson had finally earned the first big contract of his career and was starting to get paid like an NHL player should. But the former 9th round pick was just getting started. The 10-11 season saw Moulson return to the Islanders lineup and improve on the career-high numbers he set the season prior, as he potted 31 goals and 22 assists for 53 points in 82 games. Whilst Moulson would continue to contribute and be a key player for the Islanders, this production didn't translate to playoff success, as the Islanders missed out on the postseason once again. Having proven that he wasn't just a one-season wonder during his second one-year contract with the Islanders, the New York franchise felt that Moulson was a player that should stick around with the franchise for the next few years. So, on January 27, 2011, Moulson signed a 3-year, $6.39 million contract extension worth an average annual value of $3.13 million a season to remain with the team for the foreseeable future. Just like that, Moulson had found a home in the best league in the world, and was starting to turn the heads of teams, players, and fans from around the league. The 11-12 season saw Moulson improve on his previous season totals once again, as he scored 36 goals and 33 assists for 69 points in 82 games, the best single-season production of his entire career. Whilst Moulson would have a career year and score 30 goals or more in 3 consecutive seasons, the Islanders missed out on the playoffs for the 5th straight year. The 12-13 season began in a lockout, so most NHL players took their talents to various other hockey leagues around the world until the NHL season began. However, my research shows no evidence of Moulson having signed for or having taken to the ice with another team during the lockout. It seems that Moulson wanted to focus on being both physically and mentally ready for the upcoming season instead of playing elsewhere in the world. When the NHL season finally began, Moulson took to the ice for the Islanders once more, where the Canadian forward had a great season, putting up 15 goals and 29 assists for 44 points in 47 games during the lockout-shortened season. This production would help the Islanders finally return to the playoffs, where Moulson scored 3 points in 6 games, but the Islanders were eliminated in the first round by the Pittsburgh Penguins. The 13-14 season saw Moulson start the year once again with the New York Islanders. However, after scoring 6 goals and 3 assists for 9 points in 11 games, on October 27, 2013, Moulson, along with a 2015 first and second round draft picks, were traded to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for Thomas Vanek. Just like that, Moulson was leaving the franchise he spent almost half a decade with, and was looking to show that he wasn't just Tavares' sidekick, that he could still produce solid numbers without him. Moulson played pretty well in Buffalo, as he notched 11 goals and 18 assists for 29 points in 44 games with the Sabres. However, on March 5, 2014, Moulson would be on the move once again, as he was traded, along with Cody McCormick, to the Minnesota Wild, in exchange for Torrey Mitchell, a 2014 second-round pick, and a 2016 second-round pick. After being sent to his 3rd team in a single season, Moulson was looking to have a strong end to the year in order to impress as many NHL teams as possible, as his current contract was approaching its expiration. Moulson played well in his short stint with the Wild, as he scored 6 goals and 7 assists for 13 points in 20 games. He also added a slightly less impressive 3 points in 10 playoff games, as Minnesota made it to the playoffs, but they were eliminated in the second round by the Chicago Blackhawks. After his 3-year contract he signed way back with the Islanders had expired, and having played well for 3 different franchises over the span of last season, on July 1st, 2014, Moulson returned to one of his former teams, as he signed a 5-year, $25 million contract with the Buffalo Sabres. Just like that, Moulson had earned the contract of his career, but it would signal the beginning of the end of Moulson's NHL career. The 14-15 season saw Moulson take to the ice for the Sabres once more and have a decent season in his second stint with the team, as the Canadian forward scored 13 goals and 28 assists for 41 points in 77 games. This production wasn't good enough to help the Sabres make the playoffs though, as Buffalo missed out on the postseason for the 5th straight year. The 15-16 season saw Moulson's point production cut in half compared to his season prior, as he only potted 8 goals and 13 assists for 21 points in 81 games. This drop in production did nothing to help Buffalo's playoff hopes, as the Sabres missed the postseason once again. The 16-17 season saw Moulson's production somewhat bounce back, as the former 9th round pick scored 14 goals and 18 assists for 32 points in 81 games. This rebound season wasn't good enough to help Buffalo clinch a long-awaited playoff spot though, as the Sabres missed the postseason for the 6th straight year. Moulson's declining point production compared to past seasons meant that he simply wasn't earning the $5 million the Sabres were paying him each season, and he wasn't living up to be the 30-goal-a-season guy he once was. As he approached his mid-30s, it wouldn't be long before Moulson left the best league in the world. The 17-18 season saw Moulson suit up for the Sabres once again. However, after going pointless in the first 14 games of the season, he was placed on waivers. When he cleared waivers the following day, the Sabres were unwilling to free up a roster spot with the Rochester Americans for Moulson, as it would come at the expense of one of their up-and-coming prospects. So, it was arranged that Moulson would be loaned to the Ontario Reign, the LA Kings AHL affiliate team. Just like that, Moulson's professional playing career had come around full circle, as he suited up for the Kings affiliate team once more, with the hope of proving he could still be a productive player in the best league in the world. Moulson finished the season with Ontario and had a good showing, as he scored 18 goals and 28 assists for 46 points in 49 games. He also added 2 points in 4 playoff games, as Ontario made it to the AHL playoffs, but they were eliminated in the first round by the Texas Stars. As the season ended, and with 1 year remaining on his 5-year contract with the Sabres, Buffalo decided to keep Moulson on loan with the Ontario Reign for the upcoming 18-19 season. This is because they felt he wasn't good enough to return to the Sabres roster, and they also didn't want to sacrifice a roster spot in Rochester for him, despite the Canadian forward scoring at almost a point-per-game pace after being sent down to the AHL. To this day, Matt Moulson is playing for the Ontario Reign of the AHL. At the time of this recording, Moulson has scored 6 goals and 12 assists for 18 points in 20 games, so he continues to score at almost a point-per-game pace since he was sent down last season. With his contract with the Sabres expiring at the end of this season, and with him being 36 years old next year, it's very unlikely that either Buffalo extends him or he is given a one-way contract by any other NHL team. Sure, a team may offer him a 2-way contract and use him as a solid point scorer and veteran presence for their AHL affiliate team, but in terms of whether Moulson takes to the ice in the NHL again, unless it's the result of several NHL players on the same team all suffering injuries at once, I think it's safe to say that Moulson's NHL career is all but over. But regardless of how Moulson's NHL career ended, there's no doubt that he made a pretty big impact while he was there. In 650 NHL games, Moulson scored 176 goals and 193 assists for 369 points, as well as 6 points in 16 playoff games. For a player picked in the 9th round of the draft to go on to play parts of 11 seasons in the best league in the world shows just how determined and dedicated Moulson was to achieve his goals despite all the obstacles in his way. And I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty inspiring. And there you go. That's what happened to Matt Moulson. What do you think about Moulson's career? Was it good, bad, or do you think he should still be playing in the NHL? Also, is there another player that you would like me to look at as part of this series? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. A big thank you to Chris Gadsby and Max Artis for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further and get a shout out at the end of any future videos, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.